giving faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Hi, Roberta.
All right, so let me add context to it. Christian religion has been taking hella hits the last 2 weeks. With that being said, basically this is all the
when you see videos like that, I kind of sympathize with people who have that mentality. Think Dr. Olis.
What happened?
They happen to be on the news right now as you talking about it, but I ain't really know. I'm just trying to show you. I'm trying to turn the volume down, man, but they talking about it right now.
On the news. Oh, we was
it's on the Isaiah, it's on the Isaiah factor right now.
Wow.
No, we were trying to listen. We like, damn, we turned the volume. No, that's what's up. So let me add context. Marvin Winans, he one of the famous gospel singers in the Winans family. Basically, he's caught hell. Funny, that's the church. He caught hell. He's been catching hell about this particular video. I'm gonna start. First, I want to say it's clear she's single. She's definitely single.
Because somebody should have been on his ass for the way he.
No. He knows she's single.
Yeah,
she's single. I know she is. I could be totally wrong because these preachers pimp niggas too. But I'm willing to bet she's single because you ain't gonna call my wife like that, nigga. They would have seen a whole different video, nigga.
You're a whole different one. A whole different.
She on here talking like she got a ring on her finger. She on here talking right now.
Oh, for real?
Once again, he just said now they pimp niggas too.
They pimp niggas too.
Yeah, because there's no fucking way. It's no fucking way you gonna down mine like that.
Disillusionment in that report when we sat down with you for more than an hour. When you see stuff like this, what are your thoughts, Jonathan?
Well, first of all, it's not something that is very uncommon in the church today. I grew up around that, and to be honest with you, I'm not very surprised at Pastor Wine's tactics and actually trying to persuade people to give more. Because see, when you have large ministries like yourself, you have to pay that mortgage, man. You have to do something to make sure that people give in order to make sure that they pay it off, or that particular lavish life that most pastors live. I'm not saying all of them, but that a lot of them live. And so they have to use certain tactics in order.
Hey, that's being corrected. The lady that's talking was not the one that was set up at that altar.
Oh, okay.
So let me correct my bad on that. But yeah, that's funny. It's having to be playing at the same time.
Yeah. Man. So go ahead, Quality. What's your thoughts?
Nah, I'm finna hear exactly what you just said. First of all, well, let me stay in the lane. So I'm not big on this, y'all, and I don't want nobody to get too well. I already know this is my feeling. I don't go to church much. And it's because I do not believe in the preacher dynamic of it. The preacher is just a man, just like I am. Therefore, it puzzles me how we put him on this pedestal that's so much higher than other men because of what he does. He a man. He put his pants on the same way I put mine on. So he can be influenced by worldly or riches and all that there just as easily as anyone else can. So that does not say that I do not believe in God. Now, I can have my own union with God by myself in the car or whatever, however, whenever. My family and I, we do it quite frequently as far as in our own household. We stopped the dynamics of church a long time ago because we do not feel it's I started to recognize for churches, the ones that we go to as us, it was more of a fashion show. I noticed that. To me, it was more of a fashion show. What you had on that day. I can recall when I was young going, when I used to go to church a lot when I would get I was younger. So lead a club, go straight to church. That was my thing, But because of what I was wearing was an issue. That really bothered me because I'm like, well, I'm here. What do you mean what I'm wearing? Yeah, I might have been out all night, but I'm still here in the morning. So what are you talking about? But that was an issue, and that really played a big part on me. Now, as far as that preacher talking to that lady like that, oh my God, that couldn't have been mine. Because like I say, Rock, like you just said, it would have been a whole different video. It would have been a whole different one. I'm telling you, y'all would have seen something out of me that you don't normally see because I am the calm, I am the reasonable, but you disrespect mine like that, I ain't got no choice but to show you who I really am. Don't let the nice guy fool you. It's as simple as that. I land my plane.
Yeah, man. I really urge my people, and I know most of my people or a lot of my people not gonna listen to me because a lot of us are indoctrinated, by political affiliation and religion, and it's cool. But to those that are willing to open their minds, the first step I would take to opening yourself to new knowledge and liberating yourself is first start to read the missing books of the Bible. And then once you get past that point, look into reading ancient Kemetic texts. Look into reading ancient Kemetic texts because one of the things I can't stand about Bible thumpers is that how they so brag and talk about the word and use the word. And it's funny because they will fight you and brag about whitewashed words that were originally written or originally comes from figurative folklore and ancient Kemetic history and African texts. And that pisses me off sometimes because again, it's almost like a lot of us don't like shit if it ain't got the white man stamp on it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you, like, for example, there's a lot of African proverbs that are basically whitewashed into the Bible. Ancient Kemetic texts where these books were derived from, right? And so, but it seems acceptable when it's put in a white man book with white man names, of which these names never exist in Africa. But my whole point is that they are argue these scriptures, but when I see this, we're taught that your tithes is you got to give a part of your paycheck and all that. Now the original tithing is quote unquote 10% of what you make a year. And then if you dig even deeper, the church was supposed to be a stock house. It's where you brung and delivered goods and it helped fed the community, no matter what it was. Because remember, y'all know we originally come from a barter system, barter and trade system. You know what I'm saying? And so there's also a part of the Bible that's took out, which still exists in ancient Kemetic texts and some of the missing books of the Bible, where it says Joshua said, split a piece of wood and I'm still there. Move a stone and I'm still there. So they took that out because it would kill the church. That alone would X the church out because now you don't need this house of worship. You know what I'm saying? And basically that scripture is just saying, this is where it's at. But that's my point. I would just urge them to read it because we ain't gonna change them. Because hey, I'm not gonna get mad at the hoe for choosing the pimp. These women choose their shit. Then you're gonna say, oh, she sounded like a hoe when he was a pimp. Okay, Dad. It's like, say, here, Daddy, I made $1,200, Daddy. Bitch, I said bring home 2 racks, bitch. Go and get me more of the money, bitch. Okay, Daddy. I'm gonna bring the other 8, Daddy. That's all I heard was a pimp and a hoe conversation. I'm playing Lynn.
Yeah, man. I was actually kind of I don't know if I use the word shocked, more kind of surprised that knowing he has such a prominent name, right? Knowing that is going to be televised and still like expressing them kind of sentiments before the world. It's like wow, man, like that's a lot about that's it's the audacity to even say that kind of thing in front of the world to see to knowing there's going to be some backlash whether he cares about that or not, it's just kind of like, man, that's just not a good look. You know what I'm saying? Like to even. So I was kind of like, dang, that's wild that he would with the name that he has to even do that. Sometimes like if it was behind where no cameras, somebody having to sweep the camera phone and they caught it, you're like, man, he got caught. You know what I'm saying? But it was kind of like, yeah, I'm like this. You know what I'm saying? But I'll say this too, just on kind of the same vein. So I never, I growing up, I think I might have been to church. I can count on both hands. I remember when I would go to California in the summers, my grandma would go to church. In the whole summer, we might have went maybe twice, 3 times max in the summer when I would go out there. And then here in Killeen, we wasn't like a church going family. And then so like my wife, she grew up in the Nation of Islam, but her father was Christian. So she kind of, she got the both perspectives, right? So I remember I've been to mosque a few times. And we'll go to church 2 to 3 times a year, maybe 4 max, just I go to Sankofa every single year in Galveston, my IMBUF they host that. And it's dealing with, Sankofa, of course, it's African. And so you'll have Yoruba priests that are there. We honor our ancestors, so I'm of the mind, all paths to righteousness. I'm not like a religious man, so I think it's really messed up, man, how you can have how the church has gotten to the point to where it's gotten to now because the church played a huge role in our plight in the earlier days, man. There's a documentary that I think his name is Henry Louis Gates. He go by Skip Gates, I think. I think that's his name. He put a documentary together about the Black church. It was a PBS documentary. Very, very informative, man, because I didn't even know the pivotal role that the church played in us, our freedom and things that we did along our way. And how even back then, considering ourselves being African back in the day, like the AME church and things like that. So it's very interesting. It's really painful to see how the church how it's turned in many cases, and now we even having this conversation about like exploitation, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm assuming I'm assuming what happened was that he asked for people to come up and give $2,000 at minimum or whatever. She came up with 1,200. He like I said 2,000. That's like wow to me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy for that even to even be a thing. And then so I'll just say this, man. Like I said, I'm not even, I wouldn't even consider myself a Christian, but I do recognize when something good is done. So it's interesting because we having this conversation about that church, right? And we having it here, it's just on the news at the same time. But what doesn't get highlighted, which I think should get more highlights, is that, bro, did you know Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church gave the Shake Community Center $400,000 because they burned down.
Yeah.
This was like about a month ago, or less than a month ago. My issue is like, man, why couldn't that go viral, man? Like that's a great thing to give $400,000 to a Houston community staple. That's like a landmark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I do know the church does some negative things, but I have to give credit where it's due. They did something great. $400,000, that's giving back right there. As a gift, ain't no like you got to pay a gift. $400,000, bro. That's a lot of money. And as that, you would think, hey man, because Community Center been doing what they've been doing for 50 years now, man. Baba Deloitte Parker been there 50 years with the Shape Center. And the community reached back out and they poured into the community. So that's not me just defending, the black church in that sense, but I just hate the fact that the pivotal role that it played in our culture, we got some of our best music based off people that sung gospel music. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our morals and ethics come out of the church, just being real, because it really does, especially with our grandparents involved. And we give a lot of credit to our grandparents for raising us to be, the people we are today. And it was all centered around the church. And we know that to be true. I just hate the fact that when we got to have this conversation about a pastor doing that, man, that's terrible.
That's terrible.
Terrible.
Him and Marvin Sapp running in the same lanes, huh?
Yeah, he just did that, boy. He said lock the doors. Would have locked your head in a headlock, nigga.
You better believe
That's
it.
wild.
You can believe it.
That's wild.
Lock the doors, man.
Man, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Well, man, one thing I can say is, most people that know me, I'm a preacher's kid. I come from 100 years of preaching. You know what I mean? My dad, my dad, my uncles, cousins. Right now, my cousin is the preacher of my dad's church. My dad been gone 4 years. He's the preacher of the church now. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely have a healthy respect for the church based off its history. You know what I'm saying? I just noticed over the years it went from and I'm talking about my dad's church just in general, different churches. Like I remember the money thing used to get passed around one time. Now that motherfucker get passed around 6-7 times in a church session.
That's the part I was talking about. See,
Yeah,
not the
same. The first round one.
Hey, and then every time they pass around, can vote for different funds for the church. Oh, this is for the roof fund. This is for the floor fund.
Oh, they got all kind of funds now.
Yeah,
I need peace funds
for Sister Esther.
They got all kind of funds. Then another thing that I noticed, and I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing, but I remember the churches were once self-sufficient. The churches was built off the money internally. Now a lot of these churches have been bought by the government. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I find that a problem because I read it. Y'all should read it. It's scary, bro. The 503 Act. Kinfo, do you ought to see
501c3?
Huh?
501c3?
Yeah, the 501c3. That shit will make you mad, bro. You're like, what the fuck? How you going? They're telling the preachers what they can and can't do.
This is why you'll see anytime that there's some kind of issue going on in the community, they go to the church first.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The politics, they bought.
Yeah, I don't like the way that it's used. So that's the issue that that's part of the bigger problem too, Rob. Is I don't like how it's used today. It's moved away from the function that it really played in our community. Yep. To the point to where we are now, where it's almost like seems like a tool. You know what I'm saying? Where they can be swayed this way, swayed that way. It's not really necessarily about the teachings of the figure, sitting around the church. You know what I'm saying? About the safe haven is supposed to be, and the community outreach, and like you say, the place where it stores things for people that need it. Now you'll find it in like some of the smaller towns that we populate. You'll see that some of the smaller cities, smaller towns where it's more close knit. But when you talking about these mega churches, man, not all of them, but a lot of them. A lot of them, the way they're used, and I hate that being the case, man. Because, like I said, man, not to be the dead horse, but man, just when you get a chance to find out the pivotal role that it played in our entire plight, man, it's sad that we're here with our own church, bro. It's sad.
And I'm gonna tell you what's a red flag for me: a preacher that don't have a job. That's a fucking red flag. That's a red flag. I don't care if they have a mega church. That's a red flag. My dad had worked his whole entire life preaching. He was a businessman, successful businessman. He owned the driving school. We still run it today. It's still family owned. We done taught everybody on the north side out of on the northeast side. Everybody. He had a life insurance company. You know what I'm saying? My dad was a hustler. You know what I'm saying? And he never did. And the one thing I said about my dad did not subscribe to the 503. He did not do it. He didn't believe in it. He believed it was a self-contained church, bro. If something needed fixed, hey, we got to raise the money on our own. He didn't do loans, nothing. And so, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of the difference, man. You know, and I used to go to my dad at church, you know, and then sometimes, like, I didn't go often, but like sometimes my dad would just be, hey, son, I want to see you. Come to the church. Come out there. Come to church. And I come to church, he bragged, like, oh, my son, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, that's a problem, man, when they don't even work. I mean, something. You can have a church, but at least work. Do something. What the fuck you was doing? Man, now they get loans. Now, do you know they have a blank check for preachers? Preachers don't even need a business plan, nigga. You know you gotta have a decent business plan for them to convince them to give you some money, bro. Or some collateral. You don't have to have no business plan. Just come there. Hey, here go my theology degree. I want to build a house of the Lord. Man, them damn banks gonna make shit. We don't want to hear shit here.
That's how it sound. I want to build a house for the Lord.
For the Lord. I want to build a house for the Lord.
If it had not been for the Lord, I
That's tabernacle.
if it had not been for the Lord, I wouldn't have had another bitch coming